What's up, everybody? Yeah, I'm talking about Sony today. That's something I don't think I've ever done on this channel. And honestly, I don't even think I could say that I'm talking about Sony. I'm not even really talking about the state of play. I just watched it. It was fine. Kind of boring for me because most of the stuff on there didn't really appeal to me. It's kind of hard to appeal to somebody that does not own a PlayStation console. But I will say that seeing that Mega Man trailer for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds was pretty cool. Actually, it was more than pretty cool. It was awesome. Like, just the music and Wily's castle and everything. The fact that Proto Man's gonna be there, the fact that you can drive Rush, that's just so cool. I am so excited for that DLC. I don't think it's coming until next year, though. But yeah, I've been playing a whole lot of Sonic Racing CrossWorlds for the past couple of days. I'm having so much fun with it. You can catch some highlights of my Let's Plays on my alt channel that I just made yesterday. But anyway, back to like the main meat and potatoes here. I actually was not going to make a video about the state of play. That's not usually what I do. But I got so excited and so enthralled by that Wolverine trailer that I'm like, I have to jump on here and talk about this. I'm not kidding when I say this. From how good that presentation was, specifically the Wolverine trailer that they did at the very end, and even the little miniature documentary of the developers and Liam McIntyre talking about it, I thought it looked so cool that if this game was like going to be dropping this year instead of next year, I might have actually bought a PlayStation 5 out of impulse just to play that game. Also, I don't think I've seen Liam McIntyre in like 15 years. I think the last time I saw him in anything was Spartacus, and I don't know, that's got to be a long time ago. Was that HBO or Stars? Can't remember. But yeah, the way the animations go with just how brutal everything looked. I'm not usually into this kind of gory stuff, but I'm glad they did not hold back on it. It feels like Spider-Man fighting controllers, but without trying to be PG-13. And like, I think the lady that was in the trailer actually mentioned that they had the scene where the Wolverine uppercuts the guy and his knives go right through his face. It's so gory, but she mentioned a line where she was like, I don't know if we should have put this in there, but I'm glad we did. And yeah, I kind of have the same sentiment towards it. It's like them not pulling any punches for this makes it a lot more interesting. I can't explain it. So I think part of it is that I grew up a big Wolverine fan in general. I grew up watching the X-Men cartoons. I grew up reading a few comics. I wasn't like that big into it, but I was into it enough. And then after the MCU took off, obviously, X-Men was obviously still on Fox, but I still enjoyed those movies even if they weren't necessarily as popular to the masses. That's kind of besides the point, though. The point is that in the trailer, I feel like they really got the emotion and the vibe of Wolverine down pat. And you know, it could have easily been like, for lack of a better term, Disney-fied. But this feels a little bit more dark and gritty. It feels almost like a Batman game. And I mean that in a good way. What's that fun line that every single reviewer used for the Arkham games? You feel like you're Batman. And you know, that's a funny meme, but when you were playing the Arkham games, God, don't tell me you didn't feel like you were Batman, to be fair, right? So if Insomniac Games has managed to make you feel like you're Wolverine, I think it's gonna be good. And this might be a hot take, but I do feel like Insomniac Games tend to focus a lot more on like the cinematics and just appealing to people and wowing them, and that might be what this trailer is doing, to be honest. Sometimes their gameplay doesn't really appeal to me as much as the visuals of the title itself. But for this, in the gameplay trailer, oh man, I'm telling you, I have not been this excited by a gameplay trailer for a single title in a very long time. And it wasn't even like, oh man, I can't wait to play this excitement. It was just like, I want to see more of this. I want to experience it. I want to hear more people talk about it. Now granted, the frame rate did look a little bad in the trailer, but it was a live stream, so I don't know how much of that has to do with that. But still, this was easily like the sickest reveal trailer I have seen for anything in probably 2 years. I can't remember the last time I jumped out of my seat like that. Of course, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic. I didn't actually jump out of my seat. I just kind of rewinded 10 seconds and started over and leaned forward and was really intently paying attention. I think it just kind of blindsided me, right? Because the state of play was winding down. I was kind of like, okay, cool, whatever, it was fine. I usually watch them, even if there's nothing really that appealing to me. But that finale, wow. It's crazy how much like a single moment, a single announcement can change your perception of an entire presentation. And the fact that this is coming out next year, 2026, is just looking amazing at this point in time. And then you also have, like, what's that villain's name? Omega Red, or whatever it is? Mystique, and the Sentinels are in there too. There's a lot of potential here when it comes to the world building, and I can only imagine all of the amazing side stories this game is going to have too. And I don't know, I'm only just recently learning about this, but apparently there's like a supposed rumor that Insomniac Games might actually be working on a full-on X-Men game, so that would just... Okay, let me calm down for a second. Let's assume that X-Men comes out and it's not a flop and it doesn't like completely disappoint everybody that thinks this looks phenomenal, because right now everybody's pretty much praising this at this point. And because of Insomniac games making it, a lot of people have confidence, rightfully so, going into this. So if this ends up meeting expectations, maybe even exceeding expectations, I can only imagine what it would look like if a full-on X-Men game was built off of this engine. Which I think is built off of the same engine from the Spider-Man games, and seeing as how this is not going to be like a big, massive world the same way Spider-Man was, probably going to have a lot more tighter spaces and narrow corridors, this should be able to run pretty well. I'm telling you, I am just so excited for this, to the point where, like I said, if this was like, oh, it's coming out next month, I might have impulse bought a PlayStation 5 right now. Or honestly, I probably just would have used my nephew's. I mean, I guess this game will probably come to the PC as well, maybe 6 to 8 months after it goes on the PlayStation 5, or maybe 4 years later, you never know. But still, I don't know. This just looked so good, man. I got so excited watching that trailer. Strangely enough, I had kind of written this game off already for some reason. I think there was just like a lot of news and updates that just kept coming up about it, which really had me concerned. Not like I was incredibly invested, but in my mind, I was already kind of like, oh, this sounds like just another new modern day game that's going to be talked about and updated and overhyped, and then they're just going to screw something up. It just feels like in recent years, that's kind of the general trend and how things go. And like I said, this doesn't mean that Wolverine's going to be amazing. It could also completely disappoint. You never know. But it looks like they've gone all in as making sure this game is as brutal and visceral as Wolverine is. And, bonus points because Spartacus is there. He looks really good as Wolverine, actually, even if it's like a CGI version of him or whatever. And speaking of which, there was a poster. Let me put this on the screen. Yeah, this key art right here. Wolverine. Oh my God, this looks so sick. I love it. It's like a perfect modern take on the classic look. Man, this is how you sell a console. Like, you put this game up there at the very end and just watch people go nuts for it. I mean, I can't lie, when I saw Donkey Kong Bonanza's first reveal trailer after the Switch 2 presentation, I felt fairly similar to what I feel right now. That was, of course, before I saw the prices and everything and kind of pissed me off. But aside from that, I mean, that's the excitement. That's the big announcement that you're looking for, generally speaking. And like I said, it was just nice to see it at the end of this presentation, because a lot of those moments I feel like have kind of fizzled away from these presentations. Whether it's a state of play or a direct or just general gaming news. Yeah, anyway, I don't really have too much to talk about, obviously, because this thing was just dropped right now, so it's fairly recent news. But I did want to make a video about it because I got very excited when I saw it, and I figured it would be pretty easy for me to jump online and talk about it for 5 minutes. I guess now where are we at? 7 minutes. Oh, hey, if I ramble on for another 45 seconds, I can make this an 8-minute video and get an extra ad in there, just to give you some insight on how the ad system works here. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you guys for listening. I will catch you on the next one.